So, welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast, and today we're going to talk about the current state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we have our resident expert, guru, pop culture icon, Mike. What's going on with the MCU? Particularly Guardians of the Galaxy. Disney had announced that they're not bringing back James Gunn. What do you think about that?
Well, it's kind of a complicated question. I've kind of been on the James Gunn thing for a while since they announced it. I mean, I get why they did it, but there's part of me that doesn't understand it because jokes and everything are old. He's already addressed this before. And so in my mind, I keep saying, if this is common knowledge, you had no problem hiring him, then why all of a sudden are you going to fire him? If you go through everyone's background, this is directors, actors, I'm sure plenty of people up the ladder at Disney, I find it hard to believe that all of those people are squeaky clean throughout life, that they don't have their own skeletons, they don't have their own things where they made a mistake. If the jokes came up and James Gunn was like, yeah, I said the jokes, I meant them, and F it, everybody deal with it. Okay, that's one thing. It's another thing when he's already addressed the joke. They're old. He stated, hey, I was a different person back then. I'm not the same person. His brother comes out and echoes the same thing, says the same thing. Hey, he's addressed this in interviews before. Not that kind of person anymore. At some point, I feel like really should have sat down and tried to figure out how to work this whole thing out. Because I don't personally see where there was a lot of backlash of people saying, hey, fire this dude. To me, it just seemed like Disney said, okay, well, he messed up. We got to get rid of him. And they keep it moving. And then once Dave Bautista and the rest of the cast were like, hey, you need to bring him back or we're going to have some problems. Then it was like, oh, well, let's sit down and try to bring him back into the fold. What they're going to do now, I have no idea.
Well, because I guess the news this past weekend, so weekend before, James Gunn definitely was not coming back, regardless of what people from Marvel was trying to do internally to bring him back on the production for that. This weekend, Guardians 3, the pre-production phase of it is just on hold indefinitely. So the movie is technically supposed to be coming out in 2020, maybe at this point, but Disney is saying that money doesn't speak volumes, that people just can't say and do what they want. They already had known about this stuff, and it's not as if, let's say somebody's doing a background check. You are going to go check that person's social media, all this other stuff on that level to make sure that this is the person that you want representing billion-dollar franchises. This was okay up until the point that Disney is trying to buy Fox and trying not to piss people off, which is probably what a lot of this has to do with. I don't understand how you allow that to go on for 2 movies.
Yeah. I mean,
and several
like I said, if you go
dollars.
back, I mean, if you want to get technical about it, then Robert Downey Jr. is a known drug addict. Went through rehab a few times, been to jail, but you still allowed him as Iron Man. You're still negotiating $40 million deals with him. You're not saying, hey, we got to get rid of him. Gwyneth Paltrow had tweets where she used the N-word, but she's still Pepper Potts. We're not getting rid of her at all. So, as I say, I don't fully understand the whole decision. And I know that they said now they're going to keep James Gunn's script. The tone and everything now, he had everything set, is a big reason why Guardians wanted to work and flow the way they do. So if you get rid of him, now it's kind of like, okay, it's going to be different because people are already going to know he didn't do it. But you got to try to salvage some bit of it. Now, I know over the weekend they had a meeting with Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok. They didn't name what the project is or any of that, but my guess is going to be they're probably talking to him about Guardians 3. A lot of people compare Ragnarok to feeling like kind of like his Guardians movie with the comedy bit and all that, even the tone of the trailer and the music and whatnot. So I could see them because I know they've talked about trying to keep it in-house with people they've already worked with. But I don't know. I mean, honestly, right now, I think Marvel's biggest play, and the only thing that I would focus on is Avengers 4 next year. Move forward, making sure Captain Marvel's a hit, bring out Avengers 4, because after that, according to them, the whole landscape is changing anyway. So just see where you're at.
Well, I guess by that time, the Fox acquisition would be complete, and whatever is planned for the Fox properties, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, would somewhat be merged into the MCU.
Right.
Or the new MCU post.
Yeah, I know,
Avengers
like
4.
I said, Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, then Spider-Man sequel, and now they've already kind of confirmed Doctor Strange sequel is a go. So that's kind of been the rumor what's going to either replace Guardians or will come out either the end of 2019 or beginning of 2020. But yeah, let's put Guardians on hold if I were them and kind of leave it be and just see where things are at and then go from there. Because again, if you have your cast upset and your cast is like, hey, we don't want to do the movie now, then what?
Yeah.
It's one thing to replace one person like you did Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle. It's another thing to replace an entire cast of a team.
Terrence Howard, his background in particular, post the current state of the world, that would not have gone over well. He would have been definitely off of any future movies.
Marvel's got a lot of decisions to make. I would sit back and say, look, we're going to focus on Captain Marvel. let Avengers 4 be the monster hit that we say it's going to be, and kind of put the 10 years to rest, see where things are after that, and then go from there. I mean, hell, you got X-Men and Fantastic Four coming. It's not like you need Guardians for real.
All right, so let's say if Taika Waititi does not accept doing this, saying, hey, I just want to focus on the next Thor movie or whatever needs to occur with other projects outside of Marvel, who would you pick?
That's just it. I really don't have a name in mind. Because honestly, directors that they had, like Edgar Wright when he was supposed to do Ant-Man, and they had all these great concepts and things you hear about, and then all of a sudden it's a creative issue between Marvel and the director. I'm not sure who they should get. I think it should just be someone who's either kind of outside choice that you wouldn't expect. I would say keep it with somebody that's going to do something lighthearted and fun, because that's the tone of Guardians. And if you go outside that tone too much, it's just not going to work.
Keith, you have any choices?
This might be a controversial choice. Is it Peele who directed Get Out?
Yeah.
He'll be able to kind of meld the whole thing that Guardians is doing. Comedic, action, dramatic elements, even though there's not many of it, but it's still that, and he'll still be able to make it fun.
Honestly, I think the only one that could make it home run hit was the one that produced Thor Ragnarok. That's about it.
Well,
I am not aware of any other folks who would make a funny movie, yet still have a sense of loyalty to the actual universe.
Well, I would say Jake Kasdan. So that is the director of Jumanji.
You name a new director, the director might come in and say, hey, you might want to use James' script, but no, I'm changing it.
Well, I mean, we have the cast revolting against the company producing the movie. None of that bodes well, and it seems like the instability from Lucasfilms has permeated all throughout Disney, because Marvel has generally been rock solid. They have never really fired directors, but other than Edgar Wright,
they've amicably split with directors that they didn't get along with creatively, but other than that, they haven't had a shitstorm like this.
Yeah.
This came from Disney, but I know Kevin Feige was like,
yeah, but Feige's come out. Yeah, he's come out and said he agreed with it. Which, I mean, I think you do that for team morale, to just say, "Hey, Disney, I'm on board with you all." That's it. And you got your whole cast, not just one person. The entire cast is like, "Hey, this isn't gonna work."
The whole thing is just the tone of Guardians is strictly comedic. It is not necessarily an action movie, but it is a comedy movie first.
So I don't know. Russo brothers are moving on after Avengers, so can't keep depending on them for everything.
And that has worked out. That worked out.
I say, like, most of their directing choices have worked out. The only questionable ones was guy who directed Thor: The Dark World.
Taika Waititi.
Gosh, no, fire him.
They've done well with their talent pool. The only shaky ones have been Thor: The Dark World director and the guy who did Doctor Strange. Who they pick, or whoever Kevin Feige decides to hire, and I'm not going to sit there and question and look at the dude's resume and be like, I don't think he's going to handle it. It's going to be a measure of like, all right, let's see the movie and go from there. I think they earn enough credit for that.
Well, what if J.J. Abrams comes to save Guardians?
Motherfucker. Yo, see, you have to pull that. Now, see, that's the problem with that is that J.J. Abrams and his Bad Robot Clown production, they don't just come in and direct a movie. He comes in and takes over a whole franchise. Like, that dude still got production credits for Mission Impossible. I sent that link to that YouTube video where that dude was talking about like how Bad Robot structures their shit. Yeah, Abrams is like a fucking parasite. No, I'm not even going to that because this is like I'm going to go on a tangent. Mike,
what are your hopes for a successful DC movie in Aquaman?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even looking forward to it, to be real. Oddly enough, the one DC movie I'm looking forward to is Shazam, because to me that was the best Comic-Con trailer they had. I don't know, Aquaman looks like it's about to be either Justice League or Batman vs Superman, one of the two. I don't see it being better than either one. I just see it falling either kind of where it's enjoyable but it still has problems, or it's just going to be a complete piece of crap.
Oh man, I was loving the Aquaman trailer.
No,
I was loving that thing.
Nope, not feeling it. I've tried watching that trailer plenty of times too.
He doesn't seem like a likable character, in my opinion. His powers aren't very transcendent at all.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with Jason Momoa. I think he has just been kind of overplayed.
He's kind of like Roman Reigns in WWE, how they hype the living hell out of him.
Yeah.
And then you're just sitting there like, really, this dude? It's kind of how I feel every time I see the trailer. I'm just like, I'll see it, but I don't expect anything great. Like I said, I watched Comic-Con trailers, and Shazam was one where I sat there and I said, I'll be damned. DC might actually have one right.
I don't know. I mean, I will see Aquaman because of the podcast, but I don't think I want to enjoy it.
Man, you got to go in there with an open mind, all right?
Well, first of all, it's a DC movie, so there's only but so much open-mindedness you can give.
I mean, already the CGI looks spotty. Come on, man. You can't keep coming with this bullshit. And Marvel just gave us Thanos on screen that looked like I'm literally about to touch Thanos' hand. I watched that movie 5 times in 3 days when I got the Blu-ray. Because here, put it on right now, and I'm going to watch it straight through.
It's like you should have gone for the head.
It's just that damn good.
But yeah, I mean, that movie is just leaps and bounds better than anything that DC could possibly think of. Then you just have like all these Joker movies and
yeah, Henry Cavill's out as Superman now. That's the latest rumors that he asked for more money and DC told him no, so he's walking.
Well, apparently the
Henry Cavill's like seriously. Oh my god.
Well, that kind of goes along with the Star Trek movies.
Superman.
Who's gonna walk?
Henry
Cavill.
Nah, he ain't gonna be casted for anything else after that.
He did pretty good in
He did all right, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he did good in that, but outside of that, does he have any other projects that you're aware of that you're gonna actually line up to see?
No, he's been cursed by starring in DC movies. I hate to say it, but if it wasn't for that, I think he'd be a little bit better off. But
well, his name has come up for the next James Bond. Do you see him as James Bond? Yes or no?
I don't.
No,
Man from Uncle.
Screen presence.
I will tell you who I do, though, because I've heard this rumor before, even though a lot of people don't agree, and that is Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be good.
Yeah, because he has that demeanor that he can go serious and do the comedy side.
Yeah. Someone's like, oh, he has to bulk up. I'm like, have you not watched a Marvel movie or any other DC movie? You can bulk somebody up. Shit, Josh Brolin was ripped as Cable. Go look at Sicario and tell me it's the same dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Tom Cruise apparently is up for Green Lantern.
No.
Again, DC does not make smart decisions.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is a little big.
I like Tom Cruise, but no. Did you see The Mummy? No.
The problem with Tom Cruise is that he's not playing a role for that most part. There's a Tom Cruise brand, and granted, he's a good actor. He's an excellent actor, but I don't know if he's able to just step back and just let someone else drive unless he's seriously invested in the character like Ryan Reynolds was. Robert Downey Jr. was invested in Iron Man. Basically, the character Tony Stark was all personality-wise a lot like him, so he just ad-libbed most of his stuff.
Oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is literally born to be Tony Stark. DC better leave Tom Cruise alone.
Affleck, I know he's still in what's his name, but
he's in rehab right now.
Yeah.
I know he's in rehab.
He might not be back.
He's still talking about like not. He's done with Batman.
He's talking about not directing, but still being in it, possibly. I said DC's got a lot of issues.
I'm not hip to that Venom movie. I think that movie's gonna be bad.
Mm.
And Tom Hardy is signed on for 2 other movies for that.
Tom Hardy's been talking a lot of shit, so he's really trying to promote the hell out of this
You
movie.
should be Wolverine, but you're not.
Yeah, as Wolverine, he'd probably be awesome as that shit. Like,
Yes, indeed.
yeah, he'd be perfect for that one. He's the right height. He's everything. The intensity. I mean, he can handle that. So I'm surprised like Marvel didn't just shut that shit down, but
The Sony deal, the way everything's set up, they can't really do much about it. So, and Sony, since Spider-Man worked, they're like, oh, we're gonna run with it now. But they didn't make it part of the universe, so that's what I say.
I don't get it. So what? Spider-Man's got a large enough rogues gallery.
The iconic character. I mean, it's like Batman and Joker. Why would you have 2 or 3 different Joker movies? I don't know.
I don't
Like, would
understand
you
it.
recast Venom in the MCU?
I don't even say. They probably bring Carnage or some shit.
That will be their one saving grace. That's what everybody's hoping for.
If this was a Carnage movie and Venom was saved, same storyline, I'd be fine with that. Like, whatever the storyline they're trying to follow with Venom, if they just translated it over to Carnage, like, all right, it's Carnage, Spider-Man villain.
Vulture worked out really well. But one thing I was worried about, Marvel was so weak with the villains. The thing that Sam Raimi brought with I'll say for his 3 Spider-Man movies, he had strong villains. Sandman for the 3rd one. Not talking about Venom.
No.
Sandman was pretty good. If they'd have managed how Raimi wanted it originally.
Doc Ock.
With focusing on him. Doc Octopus was amazing.
Spider-Man 2 is still a
that's
good movie.
top 10.
Spider-Man 1 is probably a little hard to watch right now. I could watch it.
Now, Spider-Man 2, that movie made me almost shed a man tear. Dude told his Aunt May what happened. I was like, oh, god damn, dude. That is just like, that was hard to watch. I was like, oh, man.
Spider-Man 3 is on X-Men 3 level.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
That movie was terrible.
That was pretty bad. And here's the thing: I think everybody knew it wasn't going to be much because Sam Raimi was bitching about. He's like, I don't want to put Venom in this one. They forced him to do it. Well, I figured out a way to get him in there.
Peter Parker dancing down the street with the emo look. Even though that part is funny when he stops and he does a little dance move, and the girl be looking at him like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, basically.
He just knew he was cool.
Get Sam Raimi to direct Guardians 3.
There you go.
Work.
Marvel, hire me.
There you go.
That could work.
Put in the plug.
Just give him the money.
So, like, Guardians 3 is the linchpin for their whole cosmic, well, with the exception of Captain Marvel universe and stuff. But my hope is that they can maintain the energy and the fun of the first two Guardians movies. And James Gunn, I think he laid out a good framework to follow. So there's that. As long as you don't get somebody coming in who wants to redesign everything and shit, then we should be good.
I think if they end up using the Thor Ragnarok director, I really don't think they'll miss a beat because, I mean, it captures the essence as far as comedy factors as well as action and intrigue of expanding the universe. As long as they stick to that theme, I think they'll be fine.
Just kind of go in the direction of Jumanji. Kind of has that same tone. I like that movie. I watched that recently.
Yeah, I like the way they did the concept for Jumanji. We were going to redo this. And then when I saw it, I was like, all right, that's actually kind of cool how they did that.
Yep. And there's the Jumanji 2 apparently coming
Oh,
out.
we know that.
Yeah.
It's The Rock.
Rock and Kevin Hart tied at the hip for the next couple of years.
And Central Intelligence 2.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
But also remember with Fantastic Four, they can delve into cosmic a little more now. Because you can bring back Galactus and Silver Surfer. And they're introducing the Kree and Captain Marvel, so.
Well, I would just take Silver Surfer and leave everything else be.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real unpopular, but I not like Silver Surfer. He's my least favorite.
Ooh, you got to read some books, brother.
I've read them. I'm just like, whatever. He's got a decent personal story and stuff, but it's like, once he kind of went away from the whole Galactus, his connections to Galactus is just him floating around trying to save shit. I mean,
I think that's what, like I said, if you do it, I think you keep him with Galactus, and that's how you run with it. You don't give him a solo project.
I've always felt Silver Surfer had the same problem Superman has, where he's just like the power cosmic, period. Him on his board, he's basically God level of power. So the threats he faces, he gets beat down for a little bit, and he comes back. But this is a guy who's faced off against all the baddies, with the exception of Galactus taking his powers away. You know, what's he got and stuff. But they keep him with Galactus. They need the Fantastic Four. Probably my dislike for Silver Surfer stems from the fact I watched the last half of Fantastic Four, the second Fantastic Four movie. So it definitely colored my opinion of the character.
Lord.
The only thing was just his look. Tim Story doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but I like him as a director.
He tried, because the first Fantastic Four, he understood what the Fantastic Four were about. It was about a family, and a dysfunctional family. And honestly, they should have been, and they got the property back and shit. Get it right back to square one. And it's kind of like weird. All this stuff is going on. All this cosmic stuff is going on. The Infinity Gauntlets and everything. And I remember watching Infinity War. And this is the part where Reed Richards comes up with the explaining what the hell's going on and stuff. And,
the nullifier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he did. He did get the ultimate nullifier for that. And
there's rumors that Marvel's going to introduce them in Avengers 4. Nothing's confirmed. Nobody has like solid evidence, but they did some reshoots. I want to say like a month or two ago, and everybody's like, "All right, well, what are you reshooting now? Like, what do you need to add on?" And they said that there's a rumor that Marvel added a couple characters and some other stuff. So everybody's like, "Oh, they're going to add Fantastic Four, X-Men," even though Feige said you're not getting X-Men for like 2 or 3 years.
I'm fine.
So,
cool thing about it is that they've laid the groundwork for them to do just about anything. Just like the X-Men with Days of Future Past they kind of laid it out, like with Scott Lang being in the quantum realm and stuff. Simple matter of like them going through and adding something in about merging different dimensions and everything, because they've got to delve into the multiverse. I mean, actually, they've already delved into that a little bit with Doctor Strange.